In this video, I'll show you some AI tools that can make your life easier as an editor. Let's be better editors together. Hey, after another update from Avid, I think it's time to talk about what the AI tools can do for you. One of the new features that Avid has made is this transcript window. You can find it in Tools and then Transcript Tool. Click on it and it'll open like this. And it states that this clip hasn't been transcribed yet. If I just click on a clip that is transcribed, I can actually scroll through the clip and it'll show me on my script where it is. Or I can do it the other way. I can go in here and click the word and you can see that it's jumping between the words. That also means when I'm editing my sequence here and I'm looking for a specific sentence that I want to edit in, I can just highlight it. Now it just says speaker 1 and 2. And speaker 1 is the interviewer and this is the interviewee. So when it's transcribing, it tells me how many people are in this clip. And we have a person here called, I'm just going to call him Jeff, who's being interviewed, and then we have the interviewer who's off screen. So he's speaker 1 and Jeff is speaker 2. So instead of just calling him speaker 2, I'll actually name him Jeff. And now you can see where the questions are asked and you can see where Jeff answers all the way through. And here I can see that speaker 1 says, or the interviewer says, that was good. So I'll grab this text, highlight whatever part of it I want to use. And what it has done here is that it's made an in and out, and I'm ready to just punch it into the timeline like that.
I put on my shoes and strap all my equipment on and tie myself to the
Another way you can use this is if I'm missing a word, and usually I'll use this technique if I was editing a reality show where you want to make a conflict in the story. So like if a girl was in love with a guy and the guy was in love with her, but you wanted to make a conflict, you could say, you can make the girl say, I'm not in love. And then you would need to find the word not somewhere in the sentence. So in this instance, the guy is talking about rock climbing. So I want to make sure I can find all the instances of rock climbing. So I have the word climbing highlighted here. I can just highlight something else. I can go in and write climbing and it'll highlight all the places in my script or in my interview where he's talking about climbing. So it's a very easy way to find a specific word that you want to cut in. So let's say I just want to use this word and cut it into my sequence, or as in the love story of not being in love, I can just enter that word into my sequence by highlighting that specific word. Like that. Now you can imagine what you can do to edit your sequence in a more dramatic way or telling untruths. But I'm just saying here, reality TV is not the real world, even though it's called reality. You always want to find the conflict, even though it's not the truth, to make the story more interesting. So that's one way of using the AI tools. So another feature they put in is that you can decide which bins that the Avid will transcribe, and you can just turn it off if you don't want it to transcribe it. In this instance, all my bins are included, so that means that all my bins will be transcribed. And if I have a bin, let's say music or sound effects or whatever, I don't need Avid to spend time on going through those bins. So I can just go in and exclude them from transcription. So now you can see it says off and it's just focusing on the other bins. That's just to make the Avid quicker, especially when you're starting your project. It's very nice to turn the bins off that you don't need to transcribe. The other thing you can do, and you actually been able to do for a while, is to make subcaps. So the way to do it is, I'll just do an in and out, and I'll take my sequence, right click on it, go to transcript, and I'll say export subcap. I'm going to choose which tracks to transcode, and all my talking is going on in track 1. So I'll just pick track 1 and say, okay. Now it's going to ask me where to save it. So I'll save it in my docs, hit save, and now it's starting to index it and make a transcript of my sequence. This can also be used if you have a director or a journalist that wants to check out what you cut into the sequence or documentary. You can just give them a transcript of the whole story. Now it's finished, and what I'll do is I'll add a track to my sequence, and I'll go in and find my effect palette. I'll find my subcap generator, add it to my sequence, and then I'll open my effect editor. And if we look in the caption text, there's no text in this at all. We're starting from scratch. So what I can do is I can import caption data, and then I can just scroll down and find my exported subcap text and hit open.
Climbing.
So what you can see it is done. Before I had one subcap effect, but now it's cut it up into where he's talking. And it has now imported my text or my subcaps or subtitles into Avid. And it's divided it up into clips. And I can now scroll over them and see if it fits. And it seems like a perfect match. What I can do afterwards, I can always go into my subcap clip and edit it. So here you can decide on the text appearance, how large the size should be and all that, but play around with it. Instead of like a 4-liner, you definitely want it to change it to 2 and so forth. So those are 2 AI tricks that are really neat and make your job so much easier. If you like this video or if you have any comments, please comment. And definitely subscribe and like this video. It would make me very happy.